villagers are one of the most overpowered features in Minecraft with incredibly helpful trades. But I can't take advantage of that in my trashy villager trading hall, so today I'm going to make a brand new one inside of an amazing new building. But before I can start building it, I need to collect all of the materials. Because this is going to be built out of the same materials as my town so far, I have already got most of the stuff, but there's still a little bit more that I need to get. And the first few materials that I'm going to collect is a bunch of birch and dark oak wood. And now I have got all of the birch and dark oak wood I am going to need, except there are still quite a few more materials I'm going to need. And the next few things I'm going to collect are a bunch of concrete, except I have got a bunch of sand and gravel, which means all I need to get is the dye. And here in this makeshift bone meal converter I've put in my barn, I have got a decent amount of bone meal, which should be enough to make all of the white concrete I'm going to need. And the last dye I need is a few ink sacs to make some black concrete. And now I've got all of the dyes, I just need to craft all of it up. And now I've got all of this concrete, the last material I'm going to need to collect a bunch of is emerald blocks. Because I thought it would be fitting to put emeralds in the build because it is a villager trading hall. I've been collecting wood and trading it for emeralds for a little while now, and I've only been able to get 27 blocks of emeralds, even though I'm going to need at least a few stacks. So I'm actually going to build the building now, and then I'm going to put all the villagers in and trade with them to get the emeralds, and then I'm going to actually finish the building. And now that all of the resources were collected, I went to a separate creative world to plan the building itself. And if you're wondering why I collected all of the materials before actually planning it, just don't worry about it. Also, something to mention is that this building was based in the community centre in Stardew Valley, which is a very good game. But in the end, I was really happy with the design I came up with. So I headed back into my world to find a good place to build it. And I was either thinking here or here. And the terrain to actually build on isn't here for either of these spots. So before I make my decision, I want to build out the grass a bit because I'm going to end up building something here in the future anyway, so it's not going to be a waste of time. And there we go, I've now got a large amount of flat land over here and over here that I can build my villager trading hall on. And I've decided that it is going to be best if I build it in this area, which is where I planned to build it in the first place, but I just wanted to give myself a few options. So now, let's build it. And I have to say, I really like this building. I left a huge amount of space here and here because I want to make a bunch of more houses going all the way around it, sort of like this is a town hall in the middle of the town. I might have a few fields or gardens in these spots with the paths connecting to that area over there and going around to connect to the future of the town. Also, I decided to use lime green concrete for now, except when I do finish building it, I am going to replace it with emeralds. Don't worry. I'll probably forget and then just never get to doing it. But now that the main structure was done, I built a tunnel from my villager breeder I made in my last video all the way to the trading hall so I could fill it up with villagers. And after I built the glass tunnel, I transported all of my villagers that were already there and added them into the trading hall. And so far I have been able to get all of the villagers on this side, and some on this side, but I have run out of villagers in my little room up there, so we're going to need to wait around for them to breed a bit more. But before I do that, I want to extend this breeding farm to maybe make another 3 or 2 modules of it so that they can breed a lot faster, because at the moment they are limited to 2 villagers bred a day. So if I duplicate it more, I will be able to get 8 a day, which after AFKing overnight will be way more than enough villagers to fill this trading hall. And here is the new villager breeding area. Here I've got 7 villagers in here. You're meant to have 8, but it'll do. And as you can see down there, a bunch of villagers have already been bred, except I'm going to need a lot more. So I'm going to have to wait a while until all of them are bred up. But while all of them are breeding, I've got something very important that I have to do. In my last video, I said I would create a poll on my community tab asking if I should build Dan TDM's treasure room, because in my last video I built Dan TDM's lab and you guys decided yes. So while those villagers are breeding, we're going to have to build Dan TDM's treasure room. And I've already got a bunch of leftover materials like terracotta and quartz and glass left over from when I built his actual lab. So now all we have to do is build it. But after finishing the entrance for Dan TDM's treasure room, I realised I barely had enough quartz to build it, so I made all of the villagers on the top floor of my villager trading hall into masons so that they would sell me quartz. And here it is. If I step on this pressure plate, I can drop down into his secret treasure room. Except I just realized a few minutes ago after finishing it that it is 1 block too wide to either side. And you'll also notice I haven't filled in each of these areas, and that this over here is burnt because it kept catching on fire. I'll fix that eventually, and I will fill all of these in eventually. Except they all use so many different materials that in survival it is going to take so long, but I will do that in between this video and the next video and show you next time. But now let's go check up on the villagers. About halfway through me building that, I went over and transported all of the villagers that were there, so now we've probably got enough villagers here for about an entire layer. And here at the actual farm we've got enough for maybe another half layer, but I'm also going to need a lot more than another layer because I've got a plan which is going to need about 50 or 100 villagers. So I'm going to AFK at my iron farm up there, and I am going to hopefully get all the villagers I'm going to need. And now I have definitely got a decent amount of villagers. At least 50 in here, and more will continue to be bred while I am putting these ones and the ones I've already got the villager trading hall into their spots. So now all I have to do is fill both of these rows entirely with villagers. And here all of the villagers are. On the top floor I've got them all as masons so I can buy the quartz, which I did when I was building the treasure room for Dan TDM's lab. And then on the floor above I've got some clerics so I can buy redstone, ender pearls and glowstone when I need it. But even after completely filling my trading hall up with villagers, I had a bunch of them left over, so I made a room with the floor as hoppers below the trading hall, which I filled with butchers, so that when I get hero of the village, I would get a bunch of free food. But now that the trading hall is fully complete, I just want to add a bit of nature here and here to connect up my town I've built so far to my brand new trading hall. And here it is. I didn't really do too much. All I did was add a small dark oak forest here, a nice little villager house there, and then just a pond there. I didn't really detail it because I don't really have any lily pads or any of the materials you would use to decorate it, but I will do it, don't worry. And then I've also just connected a few of the paths here. I've got one coming here, and then I've got one going around there, one going there. But that is going to do us for today. So if you enjoyed, then don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!